Hello and welcome to In Depth. I'm Tina Jha. In an extremely unfortunate incident, a Russian-origin AN-32 transport aircraft of the Indian Air Force with 13 people on board went missing on Monday afternoon around 33 minutes after taking off from Jorhat in Assam for Arunachal Pradesh's Menchuka near the border with China. According to the Indian Air Force, the aircraft took off from Jorhat at 12:27 p.m. for the Mechuka Advanced Landing Ground in Shi-Yomi district in Arunachal Pradesh. And its last contact with the ground control was around 1 p.m. A massive search operation was launched to locate the missing aircraft. Although some ground reports were received on possible location of a crash site, but no wreckage was sighted. Even as we speak, a massive search operation is underway to locate the missing aircraft. A fleet of fixed-wing aircraft and choppers have been deployed. Ground troops have also been deployed to carry out search operation in the mountainous terrain in the region. In addition, a long-range maritime reconnaissance aircraft of the Indian Navy has also been pressed into action. The disappearance of the AN-32 aircraft on Monday has brought back agonizing memories of another plane of the transport fleet that went missing over the Bay of Bengal back in 2016. However, despite the handful of accidents in the past, the AN-32 continues to be the most reliable workhorse for the Indian Air Force. Today's In-Depth talks about the features and characteristics of the Russian-origin Antonov 32 and its essential role in the Indian Air Force. Besides, we'll also tell you about the Indian Air Force's transport fleet. A long-range maritime reconnaissance aircraft of the Indian Navy has joined the massive search operation for the missing AN-32 transport aircraft of the Indian Air Force. The missing aircraft, it went missing, in fact, around thickly forested Menchuka in Arunachal Pradesh on Monday afternoon. The Indian Air Force has deployed Sukhoi 30 combat aircraft and C-130 special operations aircraft on a search mission to locate the missing AN-32 aircraft. Ground troops are also part of the ongoing search operation. The Navy's P-8I aircraft will carry out search operations with electro-optical and infrared sensors. On Monday, the AN-32 aircraft carrying 13 people lost contact with ground agencies around 33 minutes after it took off from Jorhat in Assam. And according to the Indian Air Force, the aircraft got airborne at around 12:27 p.m. And as we told you, it lost all contacts with the ground staff around 1 p.m. The aircraft carried 8 crew members and 5 passengers, so 13 people in all on board. The AN-32 is a Russian-origin aircraft, and the Indian Air Force currently operates a sizable number of it. It is a twin-engine turboprop transport aircraft of the Indian Air Force. Talking about the AN-32 aircraft, it is a Soviet-designed twin-engine turboprop transport aircraft used extensively by the Indian Air Force for over 4 decades now. Since it joined the Indian Air Force fleet, the rugged planes used to ferry people and also airdrop supplies that have undergone several rounds of upgrades. More details about the aircraft in this report.
As the search operations to locate the missing AN-32 aircraft continue, let's understand the importance of the Antonov AN-32. It is a twin-engine turboprop military transport aircraft. The IAS was the launch customer for this aircraft manufactured by Antonov, a Soviet and later a Ukrainian aircraft manufacturing company. The AN-32 is designed to withstand adverse weather conditions. The high placement of the engine nestles above its wing allows the aircraft to have larger diameter propellers. The estimated price for a modernized AN-32 is $15 million. The production of this aircraft model dwindled after the fall of the Soviet Union. The IAF fleet comprises over 100 AN-32s, which are currently undergoing modernization.
The first AN-32s came back over 4 decades ago, and since then the Indian Air Force got about 105 of them from the then erstwhile Soviet Union. And then eventually now the Antonov company belongs to Ukraine, but we still get spare parts from Russia, but essentially an Ukrainian company right now. And over the decades, the AN-32, it's a medium transport aircraft, can carry about 7 odd tons and about 50 passengers, including the crew, about 40 fully equipped paratroopers on board. And it's a medium transport, as I mentioned, and it has actually become the workhorse of the Indian Air Force, because we have the geography is so tough, and the amount of diversity and the movement that happens is quite extreme, by far from most countries. So this has actually become the most reliable transport in all isolated areas and the border areas, both for troops and to deploy men and machine and materials. So it's even today, it is the workhorse of the Indian Air Force. There is no replacement as of now.
The aircraft is suitable for cargo transport operations on short and medium-range air routes. It is also suitable for air-dropping cargo, aerial firefighting, medical evacuation and skydiving. AN-32 aircraft can carry a crew of 5 and has the capacity to carry 39 paratroopers or a maximum load of 6.7 tons. It has a maximum cruise speed of 530 kilometers per hour.
Role is to move primarily the cargo, the military cargo, to move personnel, military personnel. These are the prime roles. It can be used for medical evacuation. We call it medevac. It can be used for firefighting in case there's a requirement. It can also be used for paratrooping, paradropping the supplies, for which in the recent case, the aircraft which went missing, it was going to advanced landing ground with the supplies. That was the primary role.
The aircraft has 10 variants: AN-32A, AN-32B, AN-32B-100, AN-32B-110, AN-32B-120, AN-32B-300, AN-32LL, AN-32MP, AN-32P Firekiller and AN-32B-200. The AN-3200 is an advanced model whose maximum takeoff weight and payload weight were increased by 1500 kilograms and 800 kilograms respectively. It is fitted with the AI-20A engines and an overrating mode control system. The AN-32B-110 is an upgraded version that features advanced Russian avionics. AN-32B-120 is an export variant equipped with a non-Russian avionics suite. AN-32B-300 is a meliorated model powered by Allison AE2100D turboprop engines, with each generating 3,431 kilowatts of output power. The AN-32MP is the maritime patrol version. The AN-32P Firekiller is an aerial firefighting aircraft fitted with 2 external tanks for carrying 8 tons of liquid. It can also be deployed for carrying cargo. The AN-32B-200 is a passenger or cargo transport aircraft derived from the AN-32B-100. It is equipped with 2 crew glass cockpit, advanced avionics and quickly detachable fuel tanks having a capacity up to 3,000 litres. With inputs from Vipul Agarwal, Bureau Report, Rajasabha TV.
This is not the first untoward incident involving the Indian Air Force's aircraft AN-32. While there have been other incidents involving the AN-32 aircraft, other models, including fighter jets and other aircraft, have also been involved in frequent accidents. For the past couple of years, the focus of the government as well as the Air Force has been to modernize and also upgrade its existing fleet. It is not the first time that an Indian Air Force AN-32 has gone missing. There have been at least 4 big crashes of the AN-32 in the past. The first reported Indian Air Force AN-32 crash was on 25th March 1986, when the aircraft disappeared over the Arabian Sea. It was a delivery flight from the Soviet Union with 7 people on board, and unfortunately, no trace of the aircraft was ever found. 4 years later, in 1990,
Another AN-32 aircraft crashed in Kerala's Ponmudi mountain range on its way to Thiruvananthapuram from the Tambaram Air Force Station near Chennai. On the 10th of June 2009, an AN-32 aircraft crashed shortly after taking off from the Mechuka Advanced Landing Ground in Arunachal Pradesh. All 13 people on board were killed. Following this crash, India signed a $400 million deal with Ukraine for the upgradation of its AN-32 fleet. But on 22nd July 2016, an AN-32 travelling from Chennai to Port Blair went missing above the Bay of Bengal. It had 29 people on board. The subsequent search and rescue operation was India's largest for a missing aircraft on the sea. The operation was called off later, with all 29 people presumed dead.
In fact, it was actually a tri-service crew plus defense civilian employees of the Navy. So it was a mix of them going from it's a courier flight from Chennai to Port Blair. It went missing over the sea, and I mean probably it was the largest search by the Indian Armed Forces for a missing aircraft in our history. The amount of search that happened over the sea and on land, I mean it was obviously in the sea, but the amount of search wanted both underwater, surface and in the air. It was unprecedented, but till date we don't have a trace of the aircraft.
Apart from incidents related to the AN-32 aircraft, accidents involving other Indian Air Force aircraft have also occurred over the last decade. On 30th April 2009, an Indian Air Force pilot was killed and another seriously injured in the first-ever Sukhoi 30 MKI fighter jet crash near Jaisalmer in Rajasthan. On 30th November 2009, a Sukhoi fighter jet crashed during a routine training sortie southwest of the Pokhran firing range in Rajasthan. Fortunately, the two pilots, a wing commander and a flight lieutenant, bailed out safely. A Sukhoi jet crashed soon after taking off from Lohegaon Air Base near Pune on 13 December 2011. Luckily, both pilots managed to bail out safely. The aircraft then was on a routine mission. 2 years later, on 19 February 2013, a Sukhoi aircraft crashed in Jaisalmer, but both the pilots bailed out safely. There was no loss of life or damage to property on the ground. A year later, on 14 October 2014, a Sukhoi jet crashed near a village in Pune. Both the pilot and the co-pilot ejected safely. Then on 19 May 2015, a Sukhoi fighter crashed at Lakhova in Nagaon district of Assam, with both the pilot and the co-pilot ejecting safely. It also was on a routine sortie from Tezpur Air Force Station and lost radar connection and crashed thereafter. On 15th March 2017, another Sukhoi aircraft crashed in Rajasthan's Barmer district, injuring 3 villagers. However, both the pilots ejected safely from the plane. On 27 June 2018, a Sukhoi 30 MKI fighter jet crashed near Nashik in Maharashtra. A Sukhoi Su-30 MKI went missing while on a training mission near Tezpur in Assam on 14 July 2018. The aircraft's wreckage was found 3 days later along with the black box. Both the pilots, a flight lieutenant and a squadron leader, were killed as they were unable to eject before the crash. In the year 2002, MiG-21 aircraft crashed at least 6 times. Next year, in 2003, MiG-21 crashed 3 times. On 15 July 2003, a twin-seater MiG-21 fighter trainer crashed near Kushinagar Air Base. Then on 8 March 2018, an Indian Air Force MiG-21 crashed near Nal in Rajasthan. However, the pilot ejected safely. On 31st March 2018, a MiG-27 aircraft of the Indian Air Force crashed near Jodhpur in Rajasthan. The pilot ejected safely. The fighter jet had taken off from the Uttar Pradesh Air Force Base, but the jet experienced engine problems leading to the crash in Sirohi district of Jodhpur. A MiG-27 aircraft had crashed at Tantipara near Alipurdwar town in West Bengal on 8 May 2018, following a technical problem which killed 2 civilians on the ground, though the pilot ejected safely. A court of inquiry was ordered following the crash. In the same year, on 4th September, a MiG-27 crashed near Jodhpur's Banad area. On 5th June 2018, Air Commodore Sanjay Chauhan passed away after his Jaguar fighter plane went down in the Mundra taluk of the Kutch region in northwestern Gujarat. This was the second alarming incident in the month of June 2018 with an Indian Air Force Jaguar. Few days after, on 8th of June 2018, An Indian Air Force Jaguar developed a snag while landing and suffered a minor accident. The pilot was on a routine training mission from the Jamnagar Air Force Base. On 28 January 2019, a Jaguar fighter of the Indian Air Force crashed in the Kushinagar district of Uttar Pradesh. Though the pilot was able to eject safely in time using his tactical expertise to land the plane away from the habitation nearby. A court of inquiry was ordered to investigate the incident. With inputs from Vipul Agarwal, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And time for a short break on the program. When we return, we'll talk more about the transport fleet of the Indian Air Force. Do stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching In Depth. The Antonov 32 or the AN-32 has been in service with the Indian Air Force since 1984. In fact, the Indian Air Force was the first foreign customer to buy the AN-32 because of the strong defense relationship between India and the erstwhile Soviet Union. Over the years, India has bought 125 of the turboprop military transport aircraft, and a little more than 100 are still in service. Its design is based on the older AN-26, which first flew back in 1969. Worldwide, about 250 AN-32s are in service. Although the AN-32 is the most reliable aircraft, the Indian Air Force also boasts of a mighty transport fleet. Let's talk about some of the best transport aircraft that are in operation in the Indian Air Force.
The Indian Air Force is the fourth largest in the world after the United States, China and Russia. With around 170,000 personnel and 1,500 aircraft, which include some of the best fighter jets, transport aircraft and helicopters, the Indian Air Force is among the top 10 strongest air forces in the world, better than that of Germany, Australia and Japan. In addition to the mighty combat aircraft, the Indian Air Force also boasts of a strong transport fleet. These transport aircraft help ground troops by providing ammunition, ration, equipment, and also para-drop troops into enemy territory. Besides, they also help the Indian forces carry out mammoth humanitarian assistance and disaster relief missions during large-scale disasters or natural calamities. For example, after the devastating floods of Uttarakhand, Jammu and Kashmir and Kerala, or be it the rescue operations in Yemen, the Indian Air Force transport aircraft has always proved itself in the time of need. Here are some of the mightiest transport aircraft in operation in the Indian Air Force. The C-130J Super Hercules. It is probably the best tactical transport aircraft in the world, with the capability to perform paradrop, heavy drop and casualty evacuation. It can also operate from short and semi-prepared surfaces. Ideal for special troops, these transport aircraft focus on delivering men and supply in forward areas when the war is on. They have a very small airstrip to land and take off, and the turnaround time is very less. Because of its speed, this aircraft acts as a frontline transporter. Another prized possession of the Indian Air Force is heavy lifter C-17 Globemaster. It is capable of carrying a payload of 40 to 70 tons up to a distance of 4,200 to 9,000 kilometers in a single hop. During calamities, the C-17s play a critical role in ferrying NDRF and Army teams along with heavy equipment from various parts of the country. They can carry about 230 to 250 people on board. Another heavy cargo carrying ramp aircraft is the Ilyushin 76TD or the IL-76. It is one of the most successful and popular aircraft in the history of air cargo transportation. Its characteristics include its cargo cabin size, carrying capacity, opportunity of autonomous loading without use of special airport equipment, and the possibility of using the aircraft at airports with undeveloped infrastructure have remained its key competitive advantages for over 25 years. It has a twin 23mm cannon in tail turret and capacity to carry 225 paratroopers or 40 tons freight, wheeled or tracked armored vehicles. The Embraer is an executive jet aircraft. It is used for the transportation of military officials and foreign dignitaries by the Indian Air Force. AVRO is a twin-engine turboprop military transport and freighter of British origin. It has a capacity of 48 paratroopers or 6 tons freight and maximum cruise speed of 452 km per hour. The first AVRO flew in 1961 and is now set to be upgraded with new engines, modern sensors and safety features as a demonstration aircraft for the Indian Air Force. The Dornier is a twin-engine turboprop logistic air support staff transport aircraft of German origin. It has the capability to carry 19 passengers or 2,057 kg of freight with a maximum speed of 428 km per hour. Boeing 737-200 is a twin-engine turbofan VIP passenger aircraft of American origin. It has a seating capacity of up to 60 passengers and a maximum cruise speed of 943 km per hour.
There have been efforts to do that. I mean, the upgrade is a midway, as a stopgap always. I mean, because acquiring a new platform takes certain amount of time and effort and allocation as well. So, but there is parallelly there is another program for AVRO replacement. AVRO is again a very old legacy aircraft. I mean, much older than even the AN-32. So, Indian Air Force has 56 AVRO aircraft. So, the replacement program again has been there for almost 5-6 years now. 4 years back we signed a deal. We narrowed down on C295, Airbus C295 medium transport aircraft, which is again the same league as the AN-32 for that matter. So 56, the initial lot is supposed to come directly from the Airbus assembly line. The rest will be manufactured in India by Tata. So that's the joint venture. So there is, in fact, the proposal as we speak is in the table of the Defence Acquisition Council.
But it is the AN-32 that is considered one of the most reliable transport aircraft in the IAF inventory. It is a preferred option across a wide variety of terrain and can carry a maximum weight of 27 tons at a maximum speed of 530 km per hour. It also has the ability to carry up to 6.7 tons of cargo or 50 passengers in one go. The strength of AN-32 includes covering tactical ranges, unlike other heavy-lift military transport aircraft such as C-17. It can also operate from remote airfields, which may have makeshift arrangements and minimum ground infrastructure. The aircraft can also play a crucial role during conflict, particularly in the mobilization of troops and material. It also has a limited bombing role and is used for paratrooping operations. For instance, during the Kargil conflict in 1999 and the subsequent Operation Parakram in 2001-2002, the AN-32 aircraft played a major role in transporting men and material to the border areas through frequent flights.
There are certain aircraft available. Anthro itself through Saudi Arabia, they have come out with one AN-132 version, and AN-132 is based on Western origin engine, that is based on Pratt & Whitney engine, which is more powerful and it can carry little more load. So they are also offering AN-132, which is more maintainable, for which the supplies are easily available to the Indian Air Force. That is one of the competitors. There is another one which has come as AVRO replacement in the same bracket, 6 to 9 tons, and that is C295 from Airbus.
For more than 3 decades, the AN-32, also known as Sutlej, has been the workhorse of the Indian Air Force. Nearly 100 AN-32s are in service with the Indian Air Force with 10 variants. Across the world, more than 240 AN-32 aircraft are currently being operated, including in Bangladesh, Iraq, Sri Lanka and Colombia. With inputs from Bipul Agarwal, Bureau Report, Rajasthan TV.
That's it from us in today's edition of In Depth. We'll be back same time tomorrow with a comprehensive view on some other subject. You can also watch our program online on YouTube and Twitter and send us your valuable feedback and suggestions about our program. Thank you for your time.